last year I found out I was pregnant with two beautiful baby girls. And um, when I was 18 weeks pregnant, though, we had a high risk checkup at Little Rock, and they did the ultrasounds. We were super excited to see the babies, only to find out that they were both in heart failure. And they told me I would have to head to Houston immediately because they needed emergency surgery where they were gonna do a laser ablation because the twins were both in heart failure. Tatum had enough fluid on her side of the sac for 8 babies, so she was in heart failure, and Harper had no fluid at all, and she was pressed up against the wall, and so she was in heart failure. Immediately, we were searching for answers. We knew to immediately just call the church at Valley and ask to be on the prayer list. We knew that only God was going to get us through that, and that only He knew the future, but that nonetheless we would have prayer warriors backing us up. On our way to Houston, we were silent the whole time. We were trying to find words. Immediately when I got there, they started doing scans and ultrasounds, and right off the bat, doctors came up to us and said, "We don't know who you have praying, but they need to keep on because the girls aren't going to make it." And for hours, they were just giving me talks and having me sign papers saying that we wouldn't save one twin if the other one was gone. And I said, no, we're going to save them, and God's going to work and God's going to move. We have people praying. And they did the surgery, and come to find out, when he inserted the laser, he was 2 millimeters off of busting the entire sac and ruining the surgery. The surgery was completed, and I was 18 weeks at the time. I was immediately put on bed rest, and when I got home, we had everybody lay hands on us at Valley. We had a prayer service, and we just had people speak over me that I didn't even know knew my name, and it meant so much that we had a family to back us up. Further along during the pregnancy, week to week, we never knew if the babies would be alive. We didn't know what we would find out, but we just knew that it was going to be okay. And we had babies delivered at 31 weeks on November 2nd after I was in the hospital for a week. They had to be resuscitated upon birth, and they were, for the most part, healthy. I had to have an emergency C-section, though, because they were really anemic, and they continued to stay in the NICU. Tatum didn't need very much help. She was she was 3 pounds. She was bigger, and she got to go home on December 31st. Harper was only 1 pound when she was born. She was the one who struggled most of the time, and in December, she had a small UTI, and she had to be resuscitated twice. Immediately then, we called the church again, and we were like, we know y'all are a people of prayer, and we know that y'all believe, and we believe, and God's gonna show up and show out again, just like he did, and we know he's not done with these girls yet. And immediately, Harper was back to normal. She was doing great. She got to go home on February 2nd with no oxygen, no tubes, no anything, which they said that she wouldn't be able to do. We had Brother James call and Brother Shane call, and just people calling all over the place or sending money to help. And they were just praying and intervening for us on our behalf and calling the girls by name. And I remember all those times my grandma and I just crying and praying in the floor, not knowing what God had planned. But we knew that we had a bunch of warriors backing us up, and we knew it was going to be okay. So the ministry that's going on here at Valley, the prayer wall, it works. And I've seen what doctors said could never happen on behalf of prayer. And I firmly believe that that's what did it. And I will forever tell anybody that asks about the girls or that comments on the girls that we had a church that backs us up and that prayed on their behalf. And that's why God moved the way he moved. And I just want to thank y'all on behalf of my family for being alongside us and holding us when we couldn't stand on our own. So thank you, and God bless.